3 summers ago, I was in Europe. It was my first solo trip. Paris was my second stop, and I was on cloud 9. At first I was a little anxious about traveling alone, but London had been amazing. And in Paris, I was going to be meeting up with my friend Nathan, who had grown up in Paris. And he was back in the summer to visit friends and family. And when I had told him that I would be in Europe for the summer, he said, "You should come to Paris for Bastille Day. My friends and I are having a house party." I was immediately intrigued. House party? Paris? Count me in. The only thing that I really knew about the day was what I learned in my high school history classes, that it was the anniversary of the storming of Bastille, a political prison, and that it was the turning of the French Revolution. But all that really mattered to me was that I was going to be safe with my friend Nathan as my guide and translator, and that I was going to be hanging out with locals. When I arrived in Paris, the hostel at which I was staying only had Wi-Fi in the common area. It was late, so I waited until the morning to connect to Wi-Fi and check my messages. When I do, I have a message from my friend Nathan, and it reads, "Hey Tracy, my friends and I are having a blast in Nice. We're going to extend our trip. Don't think we're going to make it to Paris for Bastille Day." And just like that, my plans for Paris had fallen apart. And now I didn't have someone to guide me or to translate for me. What was I to do? But just then, I met this young Frenchman named Victor, who suggested that I go to the Eiffel Tower for a concert and fireworks, and who gave me the 411 on Paris. Don't tell people you're Jewish, and be careful on the metro. Girls get harassed. I took his advice to heart because just then, my friend Erica's heroic story about fending off a mugger in Paris came flooding back to memory. And I don't know that I'm as heroic, and so all I could think was, whew, I sure hope I don't end up in a similar situation. And so, anyways, I head to the Eiffel Tower as Victor suggested, and I am blown away by the concert and the fireworks. It is the most spectacular display I have ever seen. And when it's over, Paris is a giant block party. Everyone is out on the streets. And getting back to my hostel is the easiest thing. I take the metro and I get home safely, or get back safely. The next morning is Saturday, and so I wake up early to go to Shabbat service, and then I'm invited back to the rabbi's house for lunch. I have the biggest smile on my face the whole day as I'm overcome with bliss and joy. I feel like I'm totally nailing this whole traveling alone thing. And there are still sights to see, so I head out. Next up on the list is Sacre Coeur, which is on the other side of the city, and I decide to take the metro. As I approach the metro tunnel, I spot a young man lingering on the steps. He looks no older than 16 and is wearing sunglasses. I start to get nervous, but I tell myself to play it cool. He asks me a question, and when I don't reply, he asks me where I'm from. "Mexico," I blurt out. Don't be American, I tell myself. And so in broken Spanish, he asks me if I have change. I shake my head and I wave the metro ticket that I'm holding in my hand. I keep walking, but I've caught his attention and he starts following me. He calls me beautiful in Spanish and it makes me uncomfortable. And then I notice that the space between him and me and the wall is getting smaller and smaller. I can hear my heart thumping, but all I'm thinking is, this isn't going to happen. This isn't happening. No. 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 And just then, I dig my fingernails into his arms and I push him as hard as I can and I yell, "Stop!" For a quick minute, I don't know what to do, or a quick second, I don't know what to do, and then I start rushing towards the direction from which I came. I quickly look to turn around to see if I'm being followed, but all I see is him standing there and pointing at his arm, yelling at me, presumably saying that I've heard him, but I don't care, and I keep going. I keep going until I see the sunlight peeking out from atop the tunnel stairs. I run up and I spot a McDonald's across the street and I yell, "Wi-Fi!" They have Wi-Fi. And so I proceed to use the Wi-Fi at McDonald's and I order an Uber and I head to Sacre Coeur. When I get there, I don't enjoy the view. and the large crowds are making me anxious. And so I spend about 15 minutes there before I head back to my hostel. When I get back, the first thing that I do is I take a shower. I feel dirty and gross. And I start asking myself, why did you come here? Why did you come here alone? I'm beating myself up for something that I couldn't prevent, something that I couldn't foresee. And luckily I realize this and I tell myself, stop, don't do this. This world is just as much yours as it is that guy's or anyone else's. And so after my shower, I head back down to the common area with my journal in hand. And I write, and I write, and I write. And the last line that I write is, keep traveling. Thank you.